This is it. This is it.
Finally.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Sam and Logan. Guys, we are so excited to show you these new bikes. We got the fever for 125s, and we're going to basically go through everything on these bikes and tell you why we decided to buy them.
If you got the fever, stay tuned.
Welcome back, guys. So these, for 2023, both the KTM and the YZ had a whole bunch of updates and changes. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna basically ride them right off the showroom floor. We've been waiting for months. We've had these bikes in the garage, but we've been having a banner year for snow, and it's almost like end of April, and there's still snow in our desert, which is crazy. Normally we've been riding for at least a month now in the desert, but this is the first time we've gotten them out. We haven't even, I mean, we've started this one, the Milo keeps starting this one. So
and we've kicked this.
We've kicked it, so we haven't done anything with these bikes. Like I said, we're gonna ride them right from the showroom, show you the differences before we modify anything. So if you were gonna go out, buy the YZ125X and ride it, this is what you're gonna get. Same thing with the KTM.
What we're not gonna do today is go through all the little details of every nook and cranny of these bikes. That's been done a whole bunch in other videos, and we will probably do that in other videos. These bikes, we think, are gonna be amazing for those first-time riders, so those are important details to go through. But today, we wanna show exactly what they ride like off the showroom floor. Even stuff that we would normally do, like tubeless and flag guards and other mods. We haven't done anything.
Parts. Nothing. It's got the stock tires and everything. And the cool thing about this, guys, is really our #1 goal is to also show you how much fun they are. So we're gonna pick one that we feel is the most fun. Not necessarily the best bike, it's just the one that brings the biggest smile to us, because that's what's important.
And that could definitely change with some few little modifications. That might change our opinion over time. But again, off the showroom floor, which bike puts the biggest smile on our face right away? All right, guys, so like I said, we're not gonna go through all of the details, all the nitty-gritty on these two bikes, because we're gonna have a ton of videos on these two bikes, comparing them to other bikes, comparing them to each other, comparing the mods and other things like that. But today, we do wanna hit some of the quick differences. If you were considering buying one of these two bikes, we wanna hit some of the high-level, quick things that you would see or notice right off the bat.
Yeah, and if you're a beginner watching this, these bikes are both closed course race bikes for off-road racing, which means they have an 18-inch rear wheel, which is better for off-road, more cushioning. They both have kickstands. Now, those are the most important things. So they're both made for off-road, especially this type of terrain. Now, some of the same things is they both are two-strokes, so you gotta mix gas on these. There's no oil injection or anything like that. So you gotta mix your gas. Both the KTM and the Yamaha have that. All right, let's talk about the differences. Off the bat, they're just different colors. What else, Logan?
Blue and orange. That's great. They do, the Yamaha does not have flag guards, as you see. The Yamaha has, it has no skid plate on the bottom. Cable clutch.
Versus a hydraulic. And the other main difference is that's still a carbureted bike, and this bike is the new fuel injection called a TBI from KTM, and also has the magic button, which that's still a kickstart.
This one is still a kickstart. Now they did, one of the weird things, this is just kind of the kill switch is normally on the left side for a lot of the bikes that we ride, besides the Beta. That one does have the kill on the start and the kill on the right side, and then has actually map settings, which is different.
And we have no idea. It's a high and a low map setting. Really, those are the main differences. Obviously, the suspension, you got the world famous out of the box Yamaha suspension is great. And then the KTM's got the WP AER air fork. So air fork, spring fork. Yeah, those are the main differences, but we'll show up, you know, up here on the screen, kind of like the, you know, side-by-side stats of how much they weigh and blah, blah, blah. And any
Factory.
Yeah, it's factory stuff. We also are going to show you how much they weigh full of gas, so ready to ride.
Again, lots of other videos coming on these bikes, so if you do like either of these bikes or you're interested in either of these bikes, definitely subscribe and stay tuned because more to come, but I want to ride.
Yeah, we need to ride. We've been holding on to these bikes for so long. We're going to get it geared up and just do a startup on them. So this is pretty much a cold start. We haven't started, so turn the gas on. Arrow down to on. Got the trusty kickstand over here. I mean kickstart. Put up the kickstand. Couple kicks without the choke on. For the KTM, cold start button's here. All right, guys, we just got back from riding these two 125s for the very first time. So let's jump into the first impressions. Logan, all right, what's your first impressions of the KTM?
The KTM, like all the other KTMs before it that I've ridden, feels so solid on the trail. Just very planted, comfortable, reliable. It feels like a KTM. This is probably one of the best compliments I can give it. It feels like a full-size bike.
Yep.
It feels like a KTM. It's lively, it's light. It definitely is the lightest feeling KTM that I've ever ridden. And it's got lots of power. It's got a lot of power. Now you have to find it. It definitely makes you want to find it, but it's got a lot of power. I really liked it. I felt very, very fast. As fast as I needed to go on the trails we did today, which was open desert, not soft.
No, it's not soft.
So it felt great. I had a lot of fun on this KTM today.
My impressions of the KTM is same thing. It feels really, I feel at home immediately when I get on it. The changes they did in 2023 are awesome. I can't, to be honest with you, unless riding back to back with a 2022, I don't know a ton of what those changes are, but immediately I felt comfortable. I do not like the front fender. That's the only thing. It feels so fat. But overall, it was awesome. It took me a little bit to learn how to use the power correctly, but I felt like it did everything great. So I really thumbs up so far. And you know, as far as the fit and finish of the KTM, it's really good.
I think one of the things that speaks to how good this bike is I mean, they're ready to race. Slogan. I mean, it is so good off the. I mean, there's little things we want to do, but right off the floor, it was so good. We didn't use maybe a half a tank, in a little bit we did today.
All right, what about the Yamaha?
I'll let you go first on the Yamaha.
So the Yamaha actually feels smaller than a full-size bike, like, which is strange. So for standing up, like, I felt cramped a little bit. I didn't quite have the ability to stretch out. But sitting down, it felt so good. Like, it rips. Now, it doesn't rip as much as the KTM, probably because we haven't jetted it. Like I said, we have done nothing other than ride it right off the showroom floor. We're doing that to prove a point. We haven't set anything up. So as far as the power concerned, it wasn't as good as the KTM's outside of the box, but we have not tuned the carburetor, so that's unfair. And I guess the handling and the suspension is phenomenal. It's really good. We have too much air in the front tire, but that's our fault or the dealer's fault, which caused it to, you know, deflect a little bit off the rocks. It corners really well, feels really good in the air. I slammed into, you know, the other side of ditches and whoops, and I could not get it to do anything weird. Like, I really liked it.
Definitely felt in control the entire time on both of these bikes, but the cornering in the air, like Sam said, on the YZ is part of YZ's heritage. I mean, that's what they are just really, really good at, and it shined in both those areas. Also, like Sam said, we haven't done the jetting, we haven't done some of those things, so we got on reserve. While this one still had half a tank, we hit reserve on the YZ today. Not a long ride, not a big ride. We think there's probably, I mean, again, little things we could do to actually make that bike really sing, and I'm really excited for the potential of that bike. But going back to the KTM being ready off the factory floor,
out of the box,
just you know, again, it's one of those things where it just shines right out of the box, and not to take away from the YZ, because that is going to be potentially, after some minor stuff that we will obviously document everything we're doing, but some little things that will make that bike even better than it was today.
Now I'm gonna make Logan pick which one. Who's the winner today? Like, if you had to take one home, which one would you be like, take home?
The problem for me today is if I'm not a wrencher and I'm not one that's, you know, going to go through my bike and fix it up and tune it or do anything to it, I can't walk away from the KTM. The KTM's just so good. I was noticeably faster. I've said this before on other bikes where I felt a little bit faster. I felt notably faster on the KTM. I was so much faster, having so much more fun. I was doing things I probably, like, with the way we have set it up, I probably shouldn't have been going as fast, and it still just nailed every spot that I wanted to go. And honestly, it's just, as forgiving as it is, I can't not pick the KTM. I have to go with the KTM. That's the clear winner for me on a factory floor, walk out the door, the way these are set up right now. It's KTM today.
Okay, so if I had to pick one, like I said, we're doing this just to find which bike works best for us. So a little disclaimer, it's really just what bike we have the most fun on and which one we feel the most confident on. They both are really fun. They both give you a ton of confidence. But I feel like out of the box, right off the showroom, the KTM is the winner. I have a hard time saying that because I really, really, really love the Yamahas. You know, we've owned a few. We still have a YZ125X in the garage, and it's my favorite four-stroke I've ever ridden. Do I think I can make this more comparable to the KTM? I actually think I can. I think I can close that gap. We're gonna ride this like more. So this is just video one of a whole video series of taking these, you know, out into the desert, up into some mountain single track, hopefully get them on a motocross track with someone that's better at moto than us. But out of the box, I feel like that's better. Now, like I said, we haven't adjusted the carburetor. We haven't done anything with the handlebars. The cockpit here with the levers they're just a little too far away. So we'll get it adjusted, get it set up. I still think that I actually corner a little bit faster on the Yamaha while I'm sitting down, not when I'm standing up. So I actually think sitting down I'm faster on this bike than that bike, or it feels like I am. I feel really confident. But as soon as I stand up, the confidence starts to deteriorate versus the KTM. That could be the tire situation. That could be where the handlebars are. It feels a little more cramped. So I don't feel like I have full movement or anything like that. The other thing is how much they cost. So this is significantly cheaper than that bike. So you got to decide which one's going to be, which one is it going to be? Is it going to be, you're going to spend way more on this or this? And
pay up front?
And it's like, if you don't mind tuning your bike a little bit and setting it up and getting the carburetor, you can get a carburetor run fantastic and really rip. And if you don't mind doing that, the Yamaha is probably a cheaper buy for you. And does it, now I'm talking myself out of the KTM, but basically it's like, is the happiness worth the extra? And that's the question we're trying to find out.
And I think some of that too is that there's not major things. I mean, the carburetor for sure, where we're at 6,000 feet, we have to fix that. But the other things, a lot of the other things, honestly, for me, are nitpicky things. Things like adding flag guards, that's not difficult. Moving the levers, not difficult. Moving the bar just a little bit. Those are not difficult things where you're messing with the engine. Again, the carburetor for some people, that may be a little too intimidating or more intimidating. But even that isn't as difficult as like doing something else major. There aren't, in my opinion, are not major things where you're like having to redo the entire front forks or anything like that. That would be, completely
like average riders like we are, these are really good out of the box, suspension wise, balance wise, and power wise. And that's something to keep in mind, is like, I don't feel like you need to come and get on these bikes and then spend thousands and thousands of dollars to make them work for you. And that's the important part.
Yep.
You can race fast on them. I was singing at a good clip. You can go slow on them. And, for me, I do wish the Yamaha had electric start, but that's always been a gripe of mine. They have them on their 4-stroke, so why can't they put them on their 2-stroke? I'd rather have the extra weight. And, I know some guys say, no way, because that bike has way more electronics on it, which then means, more likely things to go wrong with it. Also, they're more expensive to fix versus just a basic. What we love about 2-strokes is where they're just simple, basic, and tons of power and tons of fun. And that's what the YZ is to me. But I would still, as today, how they stand, the KTM is the winner of this, a video one of many. It's the first ride really of the season on these bikes, brand new. So far, thumbs up. When I first started riding them, I was a little like, trying to figure out the power.
Worried. It was a little cold this morning.
Yeah.
Once these got warmed up, and once we got warmed up on them, I felt like we were moving. Yeah, I mean, no problem. So lots of, we've said it before, but there's going to be a ton more videos to come. We're going to go up in the mountains. We're going to ride these next to other bikes, 4-strokes and other 2-strokes. Stay tuned, guys. Lots of content to come on these bikes.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys out on the trail. This is it.
Finally!